year, and it happens to be here on Vav Tishrei, the 6th of Tishrei, the Hilula of a really great Syrian Iraqi rabbi. His name was Rabbi Sadka Hussein. Zechet Tzadik Libracha. Actually, HaRishon, because there were two great Rabbi Sadka Hussein's. He happened to be the first one, and was one of the really, really great rabbis in Iraqi history, without a doubt. Now, let's explore some of the highlights with regards to the great rabbi's life. He was actually born in the English year 1699 and passed away, to be precise, on the 3rd of October in the year 1772. This is more than 250 years ago from the time of recording. He was born in Aleppo, in Chalab, as they say in Hebrew, also popularly known as Aram Sova, which had a very, very great Torah and Jewish community there throughout. He actually came from great rabbinic heritage. His father's name was Rabbi Saadia, who happened to be a very, very great rabbi over there inside this vicinity in of itself in Syria. So he came from great rabbinic heritage. Unfortunately, there was a little troubleships in his family's life. I believe his brothers had passed away in infancy before I believe he was even born, and actually ended up having, through a chain of events, happened to be the president of the synagogue, helped in raising him up, it was reported over. And really, he had a great amount of rachamim, and he actually brought him up and really imbued a great Torah lifestyle. Without doubt, he learned under the auspices of a famous rabbi, Rabbi Raphael Shlomo Laniado. Remember, we've spoken about the great Laniado Syrian family. There were many great rabbis in Jewish history that actually came from the famous Laniado family, their dynasty in of itself. And he learned at a young age and knew a lot of Torah. He became an expert with regards to the Torah and the wisdom of the Kabbalah. Also, he was writing various different teshuvot, questions and answers with regards to different halachic Torah grappling questions within the whole compass, and was questioned from many people all over the world. All the different vicinities came to him and asked him different halachic she'elot. And I believe when he was 36 years of age, he was actually asked from the rabbis of Aram Tzavoa to actually have a prominent position over there within regards to having a top position as a rabbi in the vicinity in of itself. Unfortunately, there was troubleships that was occurring all over the world. There was various different plagues that actually broke out. This was around the year 1743. I think they called it Magafat Dever that actually took place. And I think many people, sadly, in his congregation, they had passed away, succumbed to this plague, unfortunately. And I think at that point in time, the rabbi of the city was Rabbi Salman Barazani. I think we've spoken about him before. And also other great rabbis at the time were in that specific vicinity itself, including Rabbi Moshe Mordechai, another great rabbi, who was, I think, the main rabbi of the Kehillah, the congregation of Baghdad itself, was Rabbi Raphael Shlomo Laniado. So they were really the highest caliber of rabbis at that stage in time, but unfortunately they had to deal with all these hardships, let's just say, at that specific time. He would later on, at the point of that time where there was these great presidents in the vicinity itself, he would be appointed the rabbi of the community, a position he would keep for staggering 30-year time period. This was in Baghdad itself, and this was when he actually came into Baghdad in Iraq from Syria, and over there he built mikvaot. These are ritual baths, various different synagogues also, and many different Beit Midrashes over there, and the Torah life was thriving under him, and they were learning the Talmud from the time of Iraq. Even in that specific day in the 1700s over there in Iraq respectively, there was various different Torah classes held all over the city under his auspices. He really gave a huge injection within regards to Torah itself. He brought about the various different Sephardic customs, the Spanish Mizrahi customs within regards to it, and they followed, obviously, naturally, the code of Jewish law, the halacha within regards to that. He wrote many different she'elot and shuvot within regards to questions and answers, which many people had grappled with. They actually brought to him and asked him, and the greatest people in his generation actually came to Rabbi Sadka Hussein, HaRishon. And included in this, he was very much traveling in many different places. He was extremely knowledgeable with regards to the wisdom of the Ari Kadosh, Rabbi Luria Ashkenazi, the famous Kabbalist from Tzfat, who was an expert in Kabbalah. And it's unfortunately, I think there was more plagues that did break out. I think a second major plague broke out in the year Kaf Kuf Lamed Bet, the Hebrew year, naturally. It happened in that specific year. I think that was around the year 1771. And another Magifa Deve, as they say, that came. And unfortunately, I think 3 of his 5 sons had passed away, succumbed from this specific plague over there. Absolutely devastating. I think it was reported over there on the Shabbat Shuvah of that specific year. He gave a hesped within regards to his great sons. And I believe he passed away in the English year 1774. I believe it, or 1772. It was probably the same specific year, I think, as a plague. I'm not too sure if it was connected to that in itself. It would have been about 72, 73 years of age at the time of passing. Included among he left many great descendants, including Rabbi Sadka Hussein Hasheni, who lived about many years later. He's a rabbi that we've actually spoken about on various occasions before. He happened to be a judge of the famous Bet Din of the Sephardi congregation in Jerusalem, and I think he had the prominent synagogue called the Shemesh Tzadka. So a lot was perpetuated in his memory. Included also was Rabbi Shlomo Bachor Chotzin, also another great rabbi who was a famous posek, a payetan, and one of the great rabbis also of Bavel, of Iraq, also, especially in the 1800 period, 1900. And he had many different descendants also. Let's explore some of the books he actually wrote. Many great Torah colossal works. As we said before, he wrote a lot of different halachic responsa, which was a lot of it came into manuscript, and a lot of it, what I believe, was printed at a later stage of time, if I'm not mistaken, including the Tzadka Mishpat, which was a shoot. It was She'elot and Teshuvot, which was on the Toldot Shel HaMechaber, as they say over there. And I think it was actually printed through the auspices of Rabbi Yitzchak Nissim, who would become later on HaRishon LeZion in Israel, respectively. Another great book that he wrote was Orech Tzadka, which was on the Arba'at Torim, also. The Meil Tzadka, also, which was also on Arba'at Torim. Then there was Maaseh HaTzadka, which was a shut, She'elot and Teshuvot, also respectively, and Avodot HaTzadka, which was a Perush on the Torah, on the 5 books of Moses, respectively. So he passed away, as we stated before, on the Vav Tishrei. Now, there's 2 different opinions. One opinion said it was in 1772. Another opinion said it was in 1774. So if we go like the latter opinion, he would have been 75 years of age, I believe, at the time of passing. Included among his rabbis was Rabbi Raphael Shlomo Laniado, and he was one of the great rabbis of Syrian and Iraqi Jewry history, without doubt. Please don't forget to light candles in his memory. Please subscribe to the channel. Friends, we've already covered around 420 videos on the famous Rabbanim of yesteryear. Please subscribe, like the videos. I'm wishing you well from Israel, wishing you blessings, and